Charlie Kirk Show, where talk meets action.
All right, welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. I'm Andrew Kolvet, joined by Mikey McCoy. Mikey, you were at the Santa Barbara No Kings protest rally. I don't know what we're calling it, and you captured some great footage here, this is really funny. Like, what are they doing? What are these people doing? Put up that image that Mikey just put in the chat with the whole. It's like a prison. There you go. What is going on here? It's like she's dressed as a king, like a deck of cards, like a king. The King of Hearts. It's with an X out of it.
I felt like this whole rally gathering. Well, first off, I happened to be driving through and I was like, I'm going to stop. This seems like a fun protest to go to. And I took a bunch of footage, but these people are dressed up. It's a clown show, and you can't take these people seriously. So I actually walked up to these people and asked them what a woman was. They didn't like that very much. And then afterwards, I asked him how Trump was a felon. Couldn't answer that either. So that he was wearing that. But it was really interesting to see how many lies were on these signs and just these people being indoctrinated on a level that I don't even think they understand.
What's going on? Hold on. Can you put the 101 up again, Mikey? You have to walk me through what I'm seeing. 101. What's with the costumes?
Okay. So this is I don't even know what this is, but they have these blow up costumes, and there's like hundreds of them. And these people are just dressed up as it. But there's this clip that I found that was pretty funny. I'll have to find it to send for the show. But it's where one of these Antifa people are dressed up in one of these outfits, and ICE had to spray the pepper spray in the vent tube. But yeah, these people you can't take them serious. The amount of lies that are just being pushed at these public gatherings.
Well, namely that Trump is somehow a king, and we're gonna debunk that in the final segment of the hour because it's important. I actually tried to watch CNN and MSNBC and try and get a sense of what their argument is that makes Trump a king to them, and I don't think they have a cohesive argument or a coherent one at least. Yeah, and so we're gonna explain why he's not a king in the last segment. Then we got Mike Cernovich, and then Mikey's interview with Governor Glenn Youngkin in hour 2. So don't go anywhere. Much coming up. All right, welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. Andrew Kolvet here, executive producer of this show, with Mikey McCoy, chief of staff to Turning Point. It's the new title.
Yeah. We were just talking about the No Kings, and I keep saying it's ironic that the minority party, Democrat Party in America right now, is the one shutting down the government. Then that same party is taking to the streets protesting that Trump's a king.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. We live in a constitutional republic. It's governed by the Constitution. That's how we set up our form of government, our structure of government. There is a legislative, a judicial, and an executive branch. And in November of 2024, with much credit to Charlie Kirk and the work that Turning Point Action and Turning Point USA did, and honestly, this team cutting up all that footage, 15 billion views of Charlie's content online and on social media, we won the election. Conservatives won. We won the presidency, won all 7 swing states. We won a popular vote. We won an electoral landslide. And we held the Senate, 53 votes in the Senate. And we've got a narrow majority, but we have a majority in the House. So when you have those things, that's called political power. Mm-hmm. And if you don't use political power, then you would be derelict in your duty. So what have we done? We passed a piece of legislation using reconciliation, so we didn't need to get 60 votes in the Senate. The Democrats have done the same thing. It's very common. And we're passing legislation. President Trump has a lot of power as president. It's called the executive branch. Article 2 delineates the powers. And what's crazy is that, Joe Biden, let's go through it. He basically ignored our immigration laws and let in over 10 million illegal immigrants to flood into the nation, just completely ignoring the laws. So allowing an invasion, allowing fentanyl crisis, overdoses. We saw all of these terrible deaths at the hands of illegal immigrants in our communities. They overran all our major cities, costing all of us billions and billions of dollars of taxpayer money. Not only that, which would have been enough to call him a tyrant of another kind. Yeah, he was simply turning turning a blind eye to a massive crisis in our country. But he was ignoring the laws. He also had a horrible pull out of Afghanistan, which is perhaps not tyrannical, but it's disgraceful nonetheless. He tried to forgive student loans, even something that Nancy Pelosi said you couldn't do without the legislative branch getting involved and passing a law. He did it anyways. The Supreme Court overruled him, and then he did it. He found another workaround to try and forgive more and more student loans. That means you and I, the taxpayers, are on the hook for people that willingly took debt to go to college and get a useless college degree. Some of them are useful, but most of them are not. Most people do not need to go to college. What else did he do? He did a lot of terrible things. He mandated that we have to take vaccines. He mandated that, well, by the way, he pardoned Anthony Fauci. He pardoned his own son. He pardoned the J6 committee. He sicked his Department of Justice on grandmas that happened to take a picture and a selfie in the Capitol Rotunda. He sicked the FBI on Catholics going into their Catholic masses. How much more evidence do we really need to show that Joe Biden did a lot of terrible things? Now we're finding out that our own intel community was spying on the Senate. They spied on Turning Point USA. This is the government, the levers of government turning around on the people. We were censored on social media. Thank God for Elon Musk and liberating Twitter and X. But they used coercive government power to censor Meta platforms, YouTube, and formerly Twitter, until Elon Musk got to this. So we have lived through a lot of tyranny, not to mention the COVID lockdowns and the mandated vaccines, all of these things. What has President Trump done? He's used executive power that is granted to him by Article 2 of the Constitution to enact executive orders, to send in the National Guard. People do not understand this, but in 1963, JFK sent 17,000 members of the National Guard to desegregate a school. Eisenhower in the 50s did a massive show of the National Guard to desegregate schools. We are not talking about 17,000 troops. We're talking about 300 troops in Chicago or Portland to defend federal offices. That's it. To defend federal facilities that are getting attacked and vandalized by radical leftists on the streets. That's not the same thing. If these cities do not want National Guard troops, then guess what? You can cooperate with federal authorities in those cities and protect the buildings. Arrest the scum that are attacking those buildings. If you don't want ICE to be raiding your cities, then cooperate. When you arrest an illegal immigrant, hand them over to ICE when they have a detainer on them. It's very, very simple. So the left wants to play victim and say Trump is this tyrant and he's so corrupt and this and that. Here's the other thing. I think they have another issue with the Department of Justice going after Comey and John Bolton. Well, guys, they shouldn't have broken the law. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. And we can go into how bad Joe Biden was. Anyways, more with Mike Cernovich. We'll unpack that next hour. Don't go anywhere.